Hello everyone and welcome to Bizarre Movies. Today we will recap a suspense thriller movie in which two magician friends become enemies after an unfortunate accident. But before we start, a gentle reminder that this is just a movie explanation and we encourage you to watch the full movie. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The story begins with a magician named Robert Angier performing his magic on top of the stage. There is lightning all around him. Then a lid opens under his feet and he falls inside a huge water tank kept in the basement. The audience is shocked to see what happened. Then we see a man with a lantern in hand. His name is Alfred and he is also a magician like Robert. He sees Robert drowning in the water tank and he tries to save his life but fails. Then we see a flashback story where it all started. We see a magician who asked Alfred to tie a woman's hands and Robert to tie her feet. Actually, Alfred and Robert both work for this magician. Alfred ties the girl's hands and after that, the girl is locked inside a huge water tank. Then the show begins. On the corner of the stage, we are shown another man named John who has designed this entire act. There is also a watch in his hand in which he is watching the time again and again, and as soon as 1 minute is completed the person gets nervous. He comes on the stage with an axe, he removes the cloth around the water tank and we see the girl drowning. They all try to save her life, but she dies. Robert is devastated because that girl was his wife. The next day Robert asks Alfred, which knot did you tie? The whole trick in that act was depending on the knot. Alfred replies, I don't know, and he leaves from there. This is the moment when the friendship of these two turns into enmity. They both are ambitious, both of them want to be the greatest magician of their times. And here begins the story of their rivalry. Then we see Alfred with his wife Sarah. He is showing his wife some of his new tricks. One day Alfred is doing a magic show with his new tricks. He says that anyone can come and shoot him. Then an unknown man comes from the audience. Suddenly he asks, which knot did you tie? He is none other than Robert Angier. In fact, he has changed his entire demeanor. Alfred replies, I don't know, there is a man who tries to snatch the gun from Robert. Just then Robert hits the trigger and the bullet hits Alfred's fingers. On the other hand, we again see John. After Robert's wife's death, he has no work, so he goes to Robert. He says that both of us should work together. Both of them start working together, and during a show when Robert is showing the magic of making a pigeon disappear from a cage, he calls two people from the public. There comes a lady and a man. Robert tells the lady to cover the pigeon with both hands, and tells the man to keep his hand on top of the cage. Suddenly Robert realizes that he is Alfred. Alfred ruins his trick and kills the pigeon on stage. Because of this incident, the owner of the auditorium cancels all shows of Robert. One day Robert goes to see his show. He is completely taken aback by Alfred performing a magic trick there. He goes in through one door and the next moment, he comes out through another door. The name of this trick is Transported Man. Alfred becomes very famous after this trick and Robert wants to know this trick's secret. He tells John that I have to learn this trick at any cost. John tells him that he might be using a double. But Robert doesn't want to believe this story. He says I have seen his show thrice, and the other man who comes after disappearing is none other than him. Here we see Robert's assistant Olivia. She also confirms Robert's claim, and says the man who comes after the disappearance is Alfred, because he wears gloves to hide his missing fingers. Robert is planning to steal his secret, but John tries to convince him that he is using a duplicate, and we also need to find your duplicate. Robert agrees with this. John then finds Robert's duplicate, an actor named Root. During the show, there are two doors at the top. Robert opens a door and then opens a lid from below. He goes down the stage, and the next moment his duplicate appears from another door. With the real Robert under the stage, the duplicate relishes the crowd's applause, kissing Olivia, which earns more cheers. After the show, Robert expresses frustration over being below the stage once the crowd cheers. He tells Olivia, I want you to work for Alfred, so that we can get the technique of his transported man. Although she does not want to do this, she agrees because she loves Robert. When Olivia visits Alfred in his workshop, she confesses that Robert sent her to learn his secrets. Olivia claims she's had enough of Robert's attitude and truly wishes to change sides. Alfred makes Olivia his assistant, and with the help of Olivia, he reaches the duplicate of Robert. One day, when Robert is showing his act of transported man to the people, he opens a door and jumps down. But the jumping cushion is not there. His knee gets hurt and gets fractured. The audience laughs, as Alfred then appears on stage. In the middle of the stage, the drunk Robert is presented, bound and gagged, as the crowd laughs at him. This makes Robert very angry. Furious Robert confronts Olivia, believing that she helped Alfred sabotage him. Olivia gives Alfred's diary to Robert, in which Robert has written the secret of each of his acts, and how he does these acts. Robert becomes very happy after getting this diary. But he cannot read this diary because all instructions are coded, and for this, he needs some keywords. One evening after a successful show, Alfred finds Robert stalking him. Alfred's trusted friend and his engineer named Fallon, who accompanies him everywhere on every show, get worried and follow them as well. But Robert kidnaps him with the help of John. When Alfred comes for his friend's release, Robert demands Alfred's method of the transported man. Alfred writes a clue on a piece of paper for his trick and gives it to Robert along with keywords. Robert takes the clue and directs Alfred to a shovel, telling him to dig to save Fallon's life. Then we see Robert finds Tesla written on the paper as a clue. He becomes happy after knowing Alfred's secret, but John is tired of being a pawn in Robert's obsession and decides to leave the magician. Robert goes to America to meet Nikola Tesla. He tells Nikola Tesla that I want a machine that can make a man transport from one place to another. Nikola Tesla needs money for his inventions. That's why he agrees to make a machine for him. Robert reads a section from Alfred's journal about the first time Olivia approached him. Olivia felt humiliated and betrayed by Robert, and she was enraged to be sent to Alfred. As time passed, Alfred realized he couldn't trust Olivia, yet continued to fall in love with her. The journal reveals that Olivia directed Alfred to root his duplicate. But as the journal comes to an end, it is revealed that Alfred asked Olivia to give the journal to lead Robert into a wild goose chase. In his journal, Alfred makes fun of Robert for believing that he would share his secrets in writing. Now a lot of time passes, and Robert goes to Nikola Tesla and his assistant. He accuses them of looting his money. He threatens to bring Edison's men to them, but Tesla assures him that he did build the machine, it just hasn't operated as intended. They put a cat under the machine and turn on the device, but the cat does not disappear. Nikola Tesla says, "Before this, we did experiments many times on your hat which you had left here, but your hat never disappeared." Robert leaves disappointed. Outside, Robert hears the cat screeching in the field. He follows the sound and finds dozens of his hats scattered around. He sees that there are two identical cats. It means whenever Nikola Tesla experimented on his hat, his original hat did not disappear from there, but a clone appeared each time at some distance. Robert gets very excited and calls Tesla outside. With this discovery, Tesla promises Robert to perfect it. On the other hand, Alfred's wife is angry with him, because sometimes Alfred loves her very much, and sometimes he does not even allow her to come near him. She also thinks that he is cheating on him, and only loves Olivia, not his own family. She becomes very depressed with time, and one day decides to end her life. After some days, Robert receives a letter from Nikola Tesla, in which Tesla has written that he has to leave the place because of Thomas Edison. But he is delivering the machine with all instructions. He assures him that the machine will work, but advises him not to use it, as it will only bring him misery. But Robert does not listen to him, and after 2 years he returns to his city. He meets John and informs him that he wants to start his magic show again. After some days, Olivia informs Alfred of Robert's return with a new magic show. On the first night of Robert's show, Alfred joins the audience. Robert walks inside and disappears before the audience's eyes. Everyone gets shocked. The next moment, Robert appears on the first floor behind the audience, earning him a standing ovation. Alfred gets shocked after seeing this. He angrily demands Fallon to outsmart Robert. He tells him that I want to know what happens when Robert walks down the stage, and the next moment, he appears from behind the audience. Fallon goes to the place where Robert performs his show. He notices that after every show, a huge tank is taken out from there, which is closed from all sides. Still, they can't figure out his trick. On the next show, which is the night of Robert's death, Alfred examines the machine along with the audience. He somehow infiltrates the set, and he ends up under the stage. He has a lantern in his hand. He wants to see the secret of Robert's magic, and this scene is the first scene of this story. Robert starts his show above and there's a lot of lightning. Robert presses a button and falls off the stage. He drops into the water tank. As Robert falls inside the tank, the top lid closes automatically. Alfred is watching all this. Seeing Robert drowning, he tries to save him, but he fails, and Robert dies in front of his eyes. John arrives there and sees Alfred. He is convinced that Alfred has done all this. That's why he testifies in front of the judge that Alfred was there when he went downstairs and Robert died because of Alfred. The police also have all the evidence against Alfred, and the judge gives him a death sentence. One day when he is in jail, an unknown man named Lord Caldlow comes to meet him. He is the new guardian of his daughter Jess. When Alfred sees his face, he sees that he is none other than Robert. Alfred is completely shocked to see him alive. Robert says that I was just trying to prove that I am a better magician than you. Robert smiles, blaming Alfred's obsession that led him there. Alfred begs him to leave his daughter out of their battle, but Robert replies that now he can take away someone precious to him. Alfred stops him and gives him a paper on which his tricks are written. But Robert tears the note apart. Alfred begs him for his and his daughter's life, but Robert leaves with Alfred's daughter. When he returns home, he sees John waiting for Lord Caldlow. Robert meets him. John is completely shocked to see him alive. John demands an explanation for how he survived. John turns his back on Robert, guilty of helping, and sends Alfred, an innocent man, to be hanged, while his daughter ends up with the man who sent him there. Robert informs John that he bought the Tesla machine in the court auction and wants to destroy it now, so that no one can use it. Alfred apologizes to Fallon from behind bars for going too far, and for what he did to Sarah. Alfred begs Fallon to live his life for the two of them, and gives his friend his rubber ball. Over the next few days, John visits Jess in the manor, then delivers the machine back to the abandoned theater. Alfred walks his last steps. He approaches his execution for the crimes he didn't commit. At the same time, the machine is lowered under the old theater's stage. John and Robert push it away into a dark room. As his last words, Alfred says abracadabra before the trapdoor is pulled. A masked man enters the theater as John leaves. A rubber ball bounces to his hand, distracting him from the man who shoots him in the chest. Masked man raises his hat, and he is none other than Alfred. Robert is completely shocked to see him alive. The truth slowly dawns on Robert. He understands that Alfred had a twin brother, who was always with him as Fallon, his engineer, who used to accompany him in every trick. The twins alternated between playing Fallon and Alfred, taking turns doing their magic trick, and even chopping off fingers to match the brother who Robert shot at. Alfred reminds him that no one knew our secret, even his wife and lover. I was in love with Sarah, who was troubled by the fact that I was having an affair with Olivia. But in reality, my brother was in love with her. I have lost my wife to hide this secret. While bleeding, Robert tells how he used Tesla's invention to produce clones of himself, murdering them each time. Alfred says, "It doesn't matter to me." Then Robert's lantern falls, and finally he dies once and for all. Then we see many water tanks, all of them containing Robert's dead bodies. They are clones created by Nikola Tesla's machine. In the end, we see John performing a magic trick in front of Jess. Alfred, who has lost half of his life, his fingers, his wife, and his brother, finds his way back to his daughter, reuniting with her and fulfilling his brother's promise. To know the movie's name, check the pinned comment right now. If you like the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel and enable bell notifications to receive the latest regular updates. See you in the next recap.